Hey, hey, come on in. Let me know where you're watching from. I didn't announce this, I didn't send it out on email. And using this background with this hair is always problematic. But I just wanted to go live because I haven't been live in way too long. So I wanted to hop on and talk about summertime and business because I get confused. It's either the first or second day of summer, and summer is when a lot of people forget about their business. They make up all kinds of excuses about, people aren't buying, people aren't shopping. And this year in particular, I don't think you can afford to have that mentality. I don't think you can afford to get caught up with all the distractions. Now, I'm not one that's going to be like, oh, don't go to your family reunion, don't go and visit people, don't enjoy some of summer, because I don't believe in that. I believe you should be able to enjoy summer, but you also still need to be building and preparing for what is to come, which typically is, the top retail season of the year. The holidays and Black Friday and even Halloween is big for a lot of markets. However, there's a lot more at stake this year, a lot more you need to consider, i.e., tariffs and the political and socioeconomic environment that we are in right now. You have to consider, possible airstrikes and all these other things. And so it's really important to stay tuned in, tapped in to what you are building and build it. Build it. You need to be building right now. You need to be building it all. Your email list. You need to be building your SMS text message list. You need to be building your customer base. You need to be building your lead list. So, if you are new here, my name is Tamara Hamilton. I blog about the business of you. I have over 33 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. I've worked with some of the top brands that you are familiar with and likely have in your home or you visited as a destination. And I just love marketing. And I believe in the business of you. I believe that my mind is worth millions. I believe that by taking little clips of me doing things throughout my day and adding context to that, adding thought leadership to that, that I can monetize. And I do. So I wanted to come on and share some of the things that have shown up for me this week, right? I've gotten several messages in my DM, and in my DM, you will find things like someone who was a follower and they sent me a friend request and they sent me a voice message, and I almost didn't listen to it because you know how that is. A lot of people send you a friend request, and the minute they send you a friend request, they're in your inbox pitching. However, she was not in my inbox pitching. She actually came in my inbox and introduced herself and just wanted to thank me. She said she finds my content very inspiring and said, please keep posting what you are posting. And I wanted to share that because number one, I never knew she was watching. I'd never seen her name. I'd never interacted with her. I'd never seen her interact with my content. And something about my content made her feel compelled enough to show up in my inbox. Okay. And with a gift, and that gift was encouragement. That gift was kind words. And that is how you know that your content is landing. She said my content inspired her to build her business and go harder in her business, right? So this is my philosophy on content. Your content should be building community. Your content should be sparking conversation and basically warming up that cold market for you in order for you to be able to make offers and they buy. They join when it is in alignment, when you are in alignment with them and their values, and your product or your service provides the transformation that they may not even know that they need. And I am doing a lot of talking. I should make sure that you can hear me. How about we do that? Let's do a sound check. Let's do that. Let's make sure we do that sound check. That sound check is so important. All right, we have sound there. That's always a good thing. We want sound. We want sound. I just got a message from one of my Pen Profits Mastery students, and she is asking for, I think, a link to the Pen GPT, but we will see in just one moment. Un momento, por favor. We've got sound everywhere. I am so happy we have sound everywhere we are supposed to have it. So let's see what Megan is saying. She wants the Pinterest GPT that I created. Make sure I'm typing correctly with one finger. Can't say the link out loud because it's a private link. Fix that. Yep, there we go. Okay. So, and I will be back soon. Okay. So, yeah, so Messenger is where a lot of business happens for me, right? I get a lot of referrals. I actually do a lot of connecting and referring by Messenger. But that's why you want your content to actually lead to conversation, because that is where a lot of sales are going to go down, right? And I admit, like 2014 to 2016, I was slaying it with people finding my content and buying directly from my content. However, the algorithms, the social media platforms, I should say, are building and programming so that that does not happen. They don't want that happening because they want their piece of the pie. It's not that you're necessarily doing anything wrong. Some of you are just not doing the right things or enough of the right things. But even with that in place, I look at myself and I'm like, I know I'm doing the right things and I know I'm doing it enough. And that is by design, because they want you to pay for advertisements. And I'm not going to get into some of the other things, but yeah, there's some other things that could be going on as well, like making you want to go to work for them and things like that. So, and that's neither here nor there, but you want your content to spark those conversations. You want your content to build community. I always give the example of, I was reading something. I always give the example of, when I worked in banking, and on those busy days when we're at full staff, but it's still more line than there are tellers, that you get people complaining. Well, our regular customers would stand up for us, and we wouldn't even have to, I wouldn't, as the person in charge, have to check people. Our customers would do it for us because they knew us and they understood and they had empathy for us. And that's what building community does. So if you are afraid of showing your face, if you are afraid of, going live, just know that as you build community, and on the Clock app, for example, you get moderators, and your moderators will handle a lot of those things for you. And so you want that community, because your community is where you send your cold market to warm them up, right? To warm them up. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways that you can convert once you have built that community. But even before you build the community, let's not forget, you need traffic. You need a high converting offer. That's what some of you are missing, is that high converting offer. You don't have a high converting offer. And so why are you running ads to something that's not converting? You want to run ads to it thinking it's going to convert. No, you are better off to make sure that you organically can convert, especially if you don't have the big budget, the big research budget, the big product development budget, and all of those things, right? You're gambling. And so what you are better off doing, right? Y'all want to go directly to Shark Tank, and from Shark Tank to running ads, and you're missing all the steps that those people who end up on Shark Tank took, right? They They built organically. They built, to a certain level. And then they got to Shark Tank. And then from Shark Tank, they got the money for the distribution center. They got the money for additional product expansion. They got the money for additional distribution. They got the money for additional, traffic, right? For to buy media, because that's what traffic is. You're buying media, right? Now you can get the organic traffic, but these days of thinking that, it was never the case for me, that viral is a marketing strategy, are over. Viral is not a marketing strategy. It never was. It's just something that y'all think it's a strategy because there are people who are very gifted and talented who leveraged it. Y'all thought they went viral when they were paying for ads behind the scene, number one, some of them, not all. And number two, when they use the word viral, they know that that's going to make y'all go crazy. And so they use it, but viral is not a marketing strategy. Viral is not a customer acquisition strategy, right? For a lot of you, for the stage of business you are in, for the type of business that you are in, especially when it comes to things like coaching and that, I'm not saying you have to do discovery calls and talk to everybody, but in the beginning, it actually behooves you to do those things. It behooves you to do those things because that is how you get to know your ideal client. That is how you get to determine if your messaging is hitting or missing and what about it is hitting or missing, so that you can fix it or do more of it. That is how you know what to do more of and what to do less of. That is how you know what words to use to make people buy, right? Because you need to be hitting that sweet spot. You need to be communicating the transformation that your product or service buys. And yes, I use ChatGPT daily. I love ChatGPT, but I also am a 33-year marketing veteran using ChatGPT. So someone who doesn't know marketing using ChatGPT, you're going to get different results than I'm going to get. Not only are you going to get different results than I'm going to get, you are more likely to get some trash results, and you might get lucky. You might get lucky with some of that ChatGPT advice. But the way ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and all those are shaping up, it's the quality of input that's going to impact your output. And the better input is going to come from the actual experts like myself. What Megan was just in my inbox asking for is she is one of my Pen Profits Mastery students. And when you get Pen Profits Mastery, now you get access to a custom built GPT that runs you through my 7-point checklist to creating pins that convert. She lost the link, and so I sent her the link again, right? So what I've done with ChatGPT is I've input and trained it to basically be me creating pins for those people in Pen Profits Mastery. That's powerful, right? That's very, very powerful, because we know that the vast majority of people that buy courses never actually even crack the course open, let alone do the work. They want to get immediately to the outcome. Well, I still can't take you immediately to the outcome, but what I can do is I can replicate what I would do to create your boards, to create your pins, and fold that into Pen Profits Mastery. And now that course is taken to an entirely different level. And because of that, I am actually attracting people who are coming in and putting out killer pins just from watching module 1. And we don't really even get into module creating pins until module 2. And there's 6 total modules. So the shortcut, right? Because a lot of people always want to talk about, oh, well, you can learn from YouTube University for free. And you're going to do a lot of trial and error. You're going to miss a lot of nuance. And it's going to take a whole lot of time. Because just because the information is on YouTube does not, number one, mean it is correct, it is accurate, or that it is up to date. There is nothing that says that those three things are in place just because it is on YouTube. So my train of thought, I'd rather pay for the shortcut. I'd rather pay to work with and get the knowledge and get the replication of the people who know exactly what they're doing, who've done the trial and error so that I don't have to, who figured it out so that I don't have to. And so that's what I do. And a lot of us are now recreating ourselves with strategy using custom built bots on ChatGPT, on Gemini, on other platforms, so that when you buy something like Pin Profits Mastery, it's really going to make it easy, because I get it. I understand going through 6 modules and all the steps that I take to create a pin can be overwhelming. Now, I also think if you really want it, and I know from firsthand, if you really want it, you're going to do what you got to do. You're going to figure it out and you're going to make it happen. So I really don't even give the bot until they've been through at least module 2 and sometimes module 3 and have created some pins on their own to make sure that they are doing the work and they understand, because it is a bot. And once you click that link, I have no control over what ChatGPT does, right? And so, I've got people testing things, and some want to see if the pins that come from my Pin GPT perform better than the pins, they create on their own, or the pins created by AI perform better than the ones they create in Canva. And the pins they create with Pin GPT are going to still only be as good as the input, because they still have to tell Pin GPT certain things. And Pin GPT, in my opinion, is best for the prompt, because unfortunately what I found with image generation bots is they are several iterations behind. So you don't get the best generated pins from using the bot, the actual image itself. You're better off to have it give you the prompt and then just open up a regular ChatGPT session and have it create the image there, or put it in Ideogram, or put it in Midjourney, and you'll get some, let's just say people have been really impressed. People are really loving it. And that's one of the things I got in my inbox this week was from Heather. Heather has been emailing me very excited from, what she's been creating. And, she said her Pinterest, at least her pins, are now getting engagement. She understands that it's a long game, that your pins need to be out there for a good 60 to 90 days before you can gauge whether they are performing or not. Now, some will take off right away, but that's more so the exception than the rule, right? And sometimes the ones that take off right away, they fizzle out sooner than the others that might take a couple months to really take off. And then they run for a really long time. I've had pins run for months. And when we talk about you need to build traffic, you need traffic to your high converting offer, Pinterest is a great place to get that traffic. Pinterest is an awesome place to get that traffic, because Pinterest is a visual inspiration search engine. And so my client Heather, she helps her son out with his business, and he sells like maple syrup, and they service brides, like for bridal shower favors, for wedding favors and things like that. And so that's the pins that she's creating, and she's loving using the Pin GPT bot that I created. And the only way to get that is through Pin Profits Mastery. So if you, and I can tell you, no matter what business you are in 99% of the cases, over 90% of the cases, your ideal client is on Pinterest. Your ideal client is on Pinterest. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm not saying all of them, but you can find your ideal clients on Pinterest. You absolutely can, right? Real estate marketing is doing quite well. Mary Kay marketing is doing quite well on Pinterest. Esthetician marketing, your ideal client is, in fact, on Pinterest. Right? Everybody thinks Pinterest is just, crafts and recipes and that. And what's to say that you can't be making your favorite recipe, but still talking about what it is that you do? It's one of the secrets we talk about in Pin Profits Mastery. So if you need traffic, and what I find is even like lawyers will buy Pin Profits Mastery because they are going to be writing books. They are going to become paid speakers. And so they will join Pin Profits Mastery to develop that traffic and build that community for offers that expand them beyond what they just do, right? They may not even service clients in other states, but they have a book because they have a bigger vision and a bigger plan for what they are doing and where they are going. Oh, I'm getting hungry. Talking about food, I'm ready to eat. So Pin Profits Mastery is a great way to learn how to not only get that traffic, but what to do with that traffic once you get the traffic, right? And how to get traffic for various stages of the buyer's journey, right? Of the value ladder, right? And no, because I talked about this in another live, if you are a coach, for example, you cannot go to Pinterest and expect that you're going to necessarily have a brand new coaching client go on Pinterest, find your content, and then they are going to sign up for coaching with you. That's usually not what happens, right? What usually happens is they get on your email list, or they go to your website, or they go somewhere, and then they reach out and they contact you. Okay. That's important to understand. And it's not just Pinterest. That's a lot of social media that you may end up getting an increase in traffic. And, I've had clients say that it's working. It's working. I've got more people reaching out to me. I've got more people coming into my store. I've got more people because of the traffic. I'll give you a real world example. My cousin locally, he opened a restaurant. It's a limited menu. It's like chicken wings, burgers, some boudin balls, and things like that. And I went in and we were having a conversation, and he was telling me how everybody loves the burgers, because I went in and I said, "What do you recommend?" He said, he and the cook, who I also went to high school with, said, get the double cheeseburger, so old fashioned cheeseburger and fries. And there is a place in town that's been in business at least 100 years. And everybody knows it, we still go there, but it just doesn't taste like it tasted when we were kids. And he's like, yeah, I'm getting a lot of their customers. People are loving it. And so I said, okay, give me that. I got home and I did like I would do anybody. I did a blind reaction video, and it was really, really good. My other cousin saw that video and then went to his location and got the burger, and then went to his car and recorded his reaction video and said I was telling the truth, right? So this is what you can create on social media, okay? So our cousin didn't just, buy, well, you can't because it's a restaurant, but you just see everybody has a different path, and what matters is that they end up at your cart, at your checkout. And then, by the way, my cousin went back the next day and ordered wings, and when he got them, he went live from in the store. Like, that is powerful. That is the power of social media marketing. When I created and sold customized foundations, and people came to my home studio and I customized their foundation for them, and I didn't just sell the customized foundation, I sold a package, right? Because you're going to need a primer, you're going to need a brush or a sponge, you're going to want setting spray or setting powder, right? And so we took pictures before and after while they were there. We would take a picture of their bottle, and their brush. But then when their package arrived with the rest of their goodies, if I didn't have it on hand, they would take a picture of it and post it on social media. And not one of them did I ask to do that. They did it because of the experience that they got. They did it because how I made them feel when they got their custom foundation. They did it because they saw other people do it and tag me. And that is the power of social media marketing, right? A lot of, especially a certain demographic, I'm just going to say it, boomers that I come in contact with. Oh, social media doesn't work. Social media marketing is dead. Nobody's buying anything online. And that's not true. You just haven't cracked the code because you are still marketing like it's 1992. By the way, I discovered the 1992 ads on YouTube, and I've been watching them every day. I even found like some old MTV stuff that I've been watching because I love marketing and advertising. In undergrad, we in our 400 level advertising class, we actually watched ads, and we had to guess who they were targeting, right? So I love watching ads. I don't really watch the Super Bowl. I watch the ad Super Bowl, right? It's about the ads for me, right? So you need traffic, and social media is a great way to drive traffic, right? And you have to, before you make that post, you need to decide, where do you want that traffic going next? Do you want it going to your inbox? Do you want it going to your website? Do you want people to call you? In the case of some of my local businesses, that's what they want. They want people to call them and book a consultation, right? I'm thinking of a dentist in particular, right? They want people to book the consultation, right? You know, getting people to record testimonials for you and putting those on social media. And the great thing about Pinterest is, number one, it's not social media, it's a visual inspiration search engine. In like YouTube is a video search engine. It's going to live there, and when people start searching, you can come up in the search. That's the power of Pinterest. That's why Pinterest is so cool. And like I said, your content lasts a lot longer, right? If your content is still out there and still getting engagement and still getting in front of new people 12, 18 months later, you don't have to work as hard. It's working smarter, not harder. And people who are searching have a different intent than those that are just on social media sharing what their kids and their grandkids are doing. It's a very different game, right? You need both. There's nothing wrong with both, but a lot of people, grind their gears trying to go viral, and this is where the burnout comes in, because some platforms, they're like monsters. They're like a Venus flytrap. You have to keep feeding them. You have to keep feeding them. You have to keep feeding them with more and more content. There are people on the Clock app saying post 40 times a day. I'm not posting 40 times a day because I don't have to. I don't have to. Right? And the other thing you have to understand is, for some of you, what you're selling, you need to have a conversation with people. Right? You need to have a conversation with people. It doesn't mean you have to close them, because you can close people with a Google Doc. You can close high ticket clients with a Google Doc. Ask me how I know. Blink twice if you're with me. Okay. You're just having the conversation to qualify them, give them the link to the Google Doc, and next thing you know, they've signed up, and then they're telling you about it. Because that's one of the other things that happened this past week, is Facebook is telling people to put the link in the comments. They're actually telling people. Facebook, I ain't gonna say they're in trouble, but Facebook is struggling a little bit. I'm gonna be real with you. I still do great business there, but the platform itself, I don't think they're performing the way that they want to perform. And because they're even calling. I've never had Facebook call me about, trying to sell me ads and stuff like that. So that's the other thing. They've been calling me. Verizon has been stalking my life, trying to get me to get either an iPad or another line. And like, y'all already get too much money from me. And they're even trying to sell me home internet, and I already have my home internet with them, right? And now I have thought about getting another home internet provider so that if one goes down, I still have internet, because sometimes that happens, especially when it's with a phone carrier. Their service may be down. It doesn't happen often, but I have thought about it just to have that backup. Because if sometimes when their internet is down, it also means their cellular service is down, which means I'm SOL. So I have thought about that. I guess I could get a landline, but who does that in 2026? So you need traffic, right? You need traffic to get in front of your content, to get your content in front of, and from that traffic, you begin to create community, and you begin to connect, and you begin to actually spark conversation, right? That's why Kim Kardashian is huge, because it's about sparking conversation. That's why you see a lot of people doing the rage bait, right? But you've still got to be strategic. You do not want to just be out here getting lots of engagement and it's not leading anywhere, right? Baiting and switching, getting people in with one thing, but then you start talking about another. And I'm not talking about being the brand. Being the brand, you can talk about multiple things. People will get that it's you. But understand that just because an opportunity shows up in my inbox does not mean I say yes to it. If I don't think it matches me and my brand, if I don't think it's a good fit for my audience, I have no problem saying no. And no is a complete sentence. Okay. So we've got Facebook telling you to put the link in the comments. I actually did an audit of my Facebook nearly 2 weeks ago now, and I need to update it because I got 2 more weeks of data I need to put in to figure out what the best type of content to create on Facebook is. Is it text posts? Text posts still do very well for me. Even though Facebook wants you to put an image or a video, text posts still do very well for me. They're my highest performing content. And I know the exact number of words, the range of words that does better for me, and in time of day and day of week. Outside of what Facebook analytics told me, I've run my own analysis, and I'm going to be updating that. Right? I'm not going to tell you all my business, but I can share with you, certain aspects of it. And I can tell you that even though Facebook is saying they want you to, put in an image or video when you create a post and put the link in the comments, text posts still do very well for me. However, I have the ingenuity to know to not only just do text posts, right? Because the one thing I will say is text posts don't get as much reach, right? They won't go as far, right? They can, but not all of them do. So text posts have a very specific purpose in my strategy. I'm not going to say what that purpose is, but text posts have a very specific purpose in my strategy, right? And so by getting this data, and data is king, this is how you know what to post and when to post when you want those conversions, right? And I will tell you, text posts with the colored background are great for conversion. Now there's more to it, but those are great for conversions. They convert really, really well. But I also get really great conversions from image posts, particularly AI created image posts. So you have to do the data, you have to do the homework and figure it out. And that's where we are at, is data driven decisions is what's going to make or break your business. And just trying to go viral and just measuring virality can actually end up sinking your business. I'm not going to be on here much longer. I've had opportunities. Here's why you got to post the content. I've had opportunities show up. I I mean, I do kind of all the time, but a speaking opportunity is in my inbox. Collaborations are in my inbox, and it's because I post the content. And I don't just post on one platform. I'm omnipresent. I have content across multiple platforms, and that's why I'm not building actively every single platform that I am on. However, what I am doing is making sure that I get content on there and regularly and consistently enough that people know that I'm not just, a thing of the past. Where did she go? And then they know where to go to get my link and to get in contact me or to go to my blog. My blog, let's look. I might have to log in. Let's see. Yeah, I gotta log in. So give me 1 second. And I can tell you what countries my blog, and then when we talk about traffic, we're gonna talk about my blog and Pinterest. Okay. Thank you for the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That love helps get this content out further, so keep it up. Thank you. Got to go through verification. We are verified. Okay, let's pull the blog back up again. Okay, so let's go over here. So the number one place my blog, gets visits from is, of course, the United States. Right? So what other countries? The United States, France, India, the Philippines, Nigeria, Indonesia, Canada, right? So, and that's just in the last week. That's just in the last week. It changes each week, but the United States is usually at the top. Now, I will tell you where else I get traffic from. I get traffic from Facebook, Gmail, because I email blog posts and that out, from Pinterest, from Instagram, from Google search, from Bing. Bing sends in a nice amount of traffic to my website every day. More people are using Bing. I know there was some post I did on the Clock app, and I in just talked about Bing, and somebody in the comments was like, not Bing. Yeah, Bing. I get a nice amount of traffic from Bing. And I will have you know that I get more traffic from Pinterest than I do from search. I also get traffic from YouTube, right? YouTube. I didn't mention YouTube. YouTube is one of the places that I get traffic from. So let's look for the year. See if I'm missing anything. Pinterest and Facebook flop back and forth for number one, and number two in the search engines are our third. Get Threads, LinkedIn. So, Ireland, Sweden, India, Canada, France, the United Kingdom, Nigeria, China. The United States is number one, and I can see where they're clicking too. I can see where they're going out to and visiting other social media sites of that I have presence on. So, data is king. You have to know. I know what my top pages that they visit. I know the top blog posts that they read. Okay. I know how long they stay on the page. I know how far down they go on the page. And this is why you need to work with a strategist, because the strategist knows what to do with that information. A lot of the people I work with are so busy and overwhelmed with what they have going on and doing what they do and servicing their customers and their clients. They don't have time for all of this. But if you want your business to make it going forward, these are the things you are going to need to do, because offline is not the answer. I know offline is not the answer because I see all the local businesses around me that have closed in the last year. Okay. I've seen the local businesses, shuttering, right? But I've also seen the local businesses not emailing and building and emailing a list. I've also seen them, just thinking they open their doors and people are supposed to fly in, and then they want to blame online instead of leveraging online. And let me tell you, if you are blaming AI, it's because you are blaming, the internet and people not wanting to go outside. People are still going outside. You've got to give them a reason to come outside. You got to give them a reason to choose you in your store. And that's always been the thing, right? I'm sure when McDonald's franchises first opened, talking about burgers again, your small little local restaurant was complaining about McDonald's taking all the business. And from what I've seen, that's just not true. Because if you got a good product, a good quality product, and you take care of people, word of mouth is going to help you. But you can't always just rely on that. And if you don't have a marketing and sales strategy in place, Divine Melanin Beauty, it must be because of the geographic location tracking or whatever, but their videos, they were live on the Clock app. And I look and I see it and I'm like, is that baby Star? It was my little cousin in the chair, right? And so I'm communicating back and forth through the live. You've got to get creative. You've got to market like it is 2026, 2027, even 2028. You've got to get with the times, and you can fight it and say how you want to keep it the same, and you can struggle. Or you can struggle and figure it out, solve it for yourself, and then have others pay you to teach them how you solved it for yourself. That's the world we live in now. Whether you like it or not, that is the world we live in. Okay. So if you need strategy, if you need help pulling it all together, you know where to find me. We can chat and discuss a VIP day or a course or a workshop or a masterclass that best suits you. And we can go from there. But it is time for me to eat. It's time for me to break the fast. And I just wanted to come live and chit chat and talk about summer because it's go time. The rest of the year in first quarter of 2026. This is why I said market like it's 2026, because what you are doing now in June is going to show up in your numbers in the fourth quarter. So that's October of this year through the end of March of next year. So this is your 2026 marketing strategy. This is real talk. I've got over 30 years of over 20 years of corporate experience, and I can tell you how corporations operate. They don't wait till January 1st of 2026 to talk about 2026. At the CEO, the C-suite level, they've been talking about it for several years. And then at the mid and lower management level, they start talking about it in the summer, the year before, if not sooner. Gotta put your business hat on and start thinking and moving like a business owner. So I'm going to go. I may come live again later, but I'm going to go for now. Bye-bye.